So I want to start this video out by saying, yes, I know it's April 1st, this is not an April Fool's post, I'm posting this today because, hey, tomorrow is what could potentially be the biggest Nintendo Direct we've ever got. It's an hour long, it's on the new Switch 2 console, we just had a Switch 1 Direct, which had a ton of new stuff, with surprises like bringing back the Tomodachi Life IP out of nowhere, and now we know that there's going to be, after tomorrow's Direct, a bunch of Nintendo Treehouse presentations that show off hands-on gameplay with some of the new Nintendo Switch 2 games. So we know for a fact we are getting new games. It's not just all going to be focused on the hardware of the console itself, although I'm sure tons of time is going to be dedicated to what the console actually can do and its new features outside of just being a more powerful Switch. Like, we've seen that C button that everyone's been talking about. We don't know what that necessarily does. We'll know tomorrow. So tomorrow's Direct is for sure the culmination of all of these Switch 2 rumors. We're probably going to know the release date of the console based on what Nintendo themselves have posted. It's probably going to be this summer. It's just very, very exciting. And so, this brings us to the topic of today's video. I thought it was unlikely before that anything Pikmin had a chance of showing up in this Direct. If there was a spin-off or something, I was sure it would show up in the Switch 1 Direct, and if it missed that window, Pikmin probably wouldn't show up for a little while into the console's lifespan after it's actually released, considering Pikmin 4 was a relatively recent game on Switch 1, it's fully backwards compatible, so it's available at launch on Switch 2, and a lot of the major Nintendo IP like 3D Mario and 3D Zelda probably are going to get prioritized. That being said, Nintendo just announced, alongside their virtual game cart system, Nintendo Switch 2 editions of Nintendo Switch 1 games. Hi, my name is Vantage Emblem, and today we're talking about the legit possibility that we could see a deluxe port of Pikmin 4 on the Switch as soon as tomorrow. If you want to see more Pikmin news, Pikmin analysis, and just general Pikmin variety content, you definitely should subscribe. That being said, I'm not going to waste any more time on that. Let's get right into this. So let's start with what you may not have seen. What do I mean by Nintendo Switch 2 editions of games? When looking at the virtual game carts on Nintendo's website, it specifies that Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games and Nintendo Switch 2 edition games can only be loaded on a Nintendo Switch 2 system. This is two different types of games, and obviously Nintendo Switch 1 games exist, so what does Nintendo mean by this? Well, there's a few possible interpretations, so let's start with the most disappointing one. Some third-party games are going to be ported to Nintendo Switch 2 that may not have been on Nintendo Switch 1 or may have been on Nintendo Switch 1, but they are not Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games. For example, Skyrim was ported to Nintendo Switch 1. It's a really good, solid port. It's not an exclusive game. Skyrim is notorious for being ported to every device imaginable. If Skyrim for some reason got an enhanced port on Nintendo Switch 2 that wasn't accessible on Nintendo Switch 1, bada bing bada boom, that's not an exclusive game, and it's a Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. In addition, maybe another Bethesda game like Starfield, for example, a new recent release, is ported to Nintendo Switch 2. It has a Switch 2 version. It's not an exclusive. There you go. That's probably what this is talking about. And if this is the case, then this really means nothing for the Pikmin series. It means nothing for first-party Nintendo games. And while I think that's possible, I don't think that this being true necessarily rules out first-party Nintendo games from getting the same treatment. We could see games that are cross-releasing between platforms. Notably, we saw Metroid Prime 4 get a trailer in the Switch 1 Direct, but it wasn't given a release date. We could see it get a release date alongside the Switch 2, with maybe an enhanced version existing for the Switch 2. Just like when Breath of the Wild released on both Switch and Wii U during the change of console generation then, perhaps Metroid Prime 4 could exist on both Switch 1 and Switch 2, allowing consumers who are not ready to buy a Switch 2 to still buy the game and make some money for Nintendo. And if the console spec rumors about the Switch 2 are true, which it seems like they probably are, then the Nintendo Switch 2 edition of the game would play way better and would be an incentive for people to pick up the new console, but it's not a punishment for not having it yet. Speaking of Breath of the Wild, this actually explains a long-standing rumor that Breath of the Wild would be a launch title for Switch 2, specifically an enhanced version of Breath of the Wild. It might be that a lot of old Nintendo Switch games are also getting this treatment with Nintendo Switch 2, with a graphically enhanced or otherwise upgraded version releasing as a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. We've heard rumors that this was going to happen with Breath of the Wild, and I think it would make a lot of sense if the game was notably better performing, and maybe these Nintendo Switch 2 editions are specifically for first-party titles that Nintendo wants to bring into the modern era. I know there's a lot of Nintendo Switch titles that could benefit from this, from Nintendo's lineup. For example, Fire Emblem. Three Houses is probably the best Fire Emblem game ever made in so many ways, and it is ugly. It plays so well, it's narratively awesome, but it could use another pass to upgrade the models and textures, and this would be the perfect place to do it for Nintendo Switch 2, especially because the Warrior spin-off upgraded the models and textures, and that game just looks gorgeous now, so like, passing back to the original, it would just be really neat. So we don't know if these Nintendo Switch 2 editions are even first-party games, or anything like that. Maybe they're just third-party. We don't know actually if they are graphically enhanced, though we can assume. We don't even know if they're basically like deluxe versions. They could potentially add new content to the games as well. Breath of the Wild with enhanced content that's different from Tears of the Kingdom sounds like such a wacky, random Nintendo decision, and I'm kind of here for it. We could see all the DLC included, and yes, it's kind of crummy to have to buy games again if you already own them. Maybe they'll let us convert over our old games, but based on the wording on Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games and Nintendo Switch 2 edition games being only loadable on the Nintendo Switch 2 system, I have my doubts, but it's possible. So either way, this is probably going to take advantage of the new hardware. If they are first-party games, if they're third-party games, it doesn't matter. These new games are going to be using the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware to its fullest, and we know this because it's not going to run on Nintendo Switch 1. It's a physical wall. You cannot use them on the original consoles. And maybe this is just to sell more consoles, but it's probably a technical limitation, just like from the DS to the 3DS. So this is all great, but this is a Pikmin-focused channel, and of course I want to talk about what this means for Pikmin. Given that the Switch 2 is already backwards compatible, I think it's entirely plausible that we could see no enhanced ports for Pikmin, even if this new system exists. We see Pikmin 1, 2, 3, 4, all of the mainline games on the console. If nothing else, we know all mainline Pikmin games are available on Switch 2 from day one, and that's amazing. I mean, we're assuming that Nintendo's not going to exclude their own first-party games from being playable on their new console with backwards compatibility, right? I think it just is a safe assumption to make. That being said, Nintendo Switch 2 could have a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Pikmin 4. We saw Pikmin 3 brought over from the Wii U to the Switch with Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and this could be a chance for a Pikmin 4 Deluxe of sorts. So, what would be in it? Well, a lot of people have been speculating for a while that there could be Pikmin 4 DLC. It could just be crammed into here. It wouldn't really be DLC, but it would be extended content. Davogado and I have a plot theory that we're planning on expanding into a full video after the Direct, where we believe that the next step in the Pikmin series is to retell the story of Pikmin 3, so potentially this could have our new Copilot trio from Pikmin 4, or the original Alf, Brittany, and Charlie trio from Pikmin 3 star in this extended content for Pikmin 4, and I think it'd be really neat. Pikmin 4 already has a Pikmin 1 style campaign with Olimar's Shipwreck Tale. It already has a Pikmin 2 style campaign with the main game, and now we could see a Juice Collection Pikmin 3 style DLC extended campaign with a deluxe port. I think that'd be amazing. Pikmin 4 would end up paying tribute to every single Pikmin game, and that even includes Hey Pikmin because we have Sparklium. Congratulations all 2 Hey Pikmin fans, we're winning today. But in all seriousness, this is a totally possible expansion for the Pikmin 4 plot. And while it's possible that any in-quotes DLC we could have got was turned into Olimar's Shipwreck Tale and the Sage Leaf Trials, which could have been excluded to be sold separately as content later, but instead were included in the main game, it's also totally possible that that's just conjecture, and what we have right here could be a potential idea for proper DLC or extension to the main game. Additionally, Pikmin 4 could have enhanced graphics. The game was built in Unreal Engine 4, and the Switch 2 probably can handle some upscaled graphics from where they were before. We know modders have already been able to do this, so Nintendo probably could do it themselves, and it would be neat. An easy graphical upgrade for a game at the end of the Switch's lifespan that they could now carry on into an early title for the Switch 2. And it would be great for Pikmin. It would explain all of the Pikmin ads we've been getting for a while. Why are they still marketing Pikmin 4? It's amazing, but it shocks me a little bit, because Pikmin's never been this popular, and maybe this is why? It could all just be about the growth of the Pikmin brand, but also this would be a great way to grow the Pikmin brand, so I don't really know. I think an enhanced version of Pikmin 4 would be a really, really good choice for a first-party title to get brought over, but I don't know if it necessarily will happen. But what do you think? Do you think we're going to see an enhanced deluxe or Nintendo Switch 2 edition style port of Pikmin 4? Do you think that's even what the Nintendo Switch 2 editions are? Is it just for third-party games? Do you think Pikmin's going to get anything in the Direct tomorrow? I don't know. If it's not this, we're probably not seeing anything, but what do you think? Do you think that we're going to see a lot of Pikmin stuff on Nintendo Switch 2? Do you think it's going to be dry for a while, and then a couple years from now, we might see a Pikmin 5? Let me know everything you have to say on this in the comments down below. I'll stop rambling and end things here. My name is Vantage Emblem. I'm so excited for the Direct tomorrow. I think we could see some great things. I'm excited for the Treehouse presentations. It's an hour long. Like, there's so much that could be jammed into here. So, let's see what happens. Anyway, I hope to see you guys soon with a video talking about Pikmin being in the Direct, or, if I'm really lucky, Fire Emblem Genealogy, the Holy War getting ported or something. I don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just really excited, and I'm rambling. Okay, ending this now. Bye, everyone.